pictures, the climate change, that's one major input derived out of it. But most practical warnings with respect to the disaster management. You know, the pictures taken from 36,000 kilometers away, they are about 50 centimeters. But that is sufficient to identify the cloud formation, the cyclone formation, how they move about, and what is the probability of the land and which location it will be. So this information is broadcast in advance to the people, the district people and to the villagers, and the warning is taken by them and they get evacuated. So in the case of a cyclone and heavy rainfall, this has become a very, very powerful tool. The Earth observation and also the communication is continuously connecting the entire country to the satellite. So this is really good to use on a day-to-day basis. Now, talking about these images and its reaction, I remember when we conceived the Chandrayaan mission, we were on the ground, but still we wanted to go to moon. And Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee was at the time, we made this proposal, and we very patiently listened and more or less agreed for the proposal. Then in a public function like this, he was addressing the people. He said, Madhavan, it's a good idea to go to the moon, but from here it looks so beautiful and pleasant, and even beautiful women's face are compared to the moon, etc. But once you go near that, I don't know what you will say, but it's true. When we went near 100 kilometers nearby, and it is full of potholes and moles and whatnot. And seeing that picture, you will no more call your beloved moon face. So that's the kind of experience we had. But these are some of the adventures we had. India is a leader in applying the space technology for the common man and day-to-day life. Every walk of life today is affected by one element or another of the space. I talked about disaster management, DTH, what you're getting. The way up the satellites are leaving hundreds of channels to your rooftop. Then comes the remote communication of villages. They are not having any communication. Even today, about 35,000 villages are not having any means of communication. Those are reached out to the satellite. So like that, plenty of happening. But keeping all those things in mind, still ISRO has been spending a little bit of effort in understanding this time. The moon mission, one of that. And I am very happy to say that our Indian spacecraft, when it was going around the moon and taking the images, for the first time we could announce to the world there is water on the surface of the moon. So this is a fantastic achievement. Just looking back, American astronauts, they brought some samples from the moon and it was analyzed in the NASA laboratory. Little bit of traces of water they could see. But somebody brushed it aside. No, it must be sweat from the astronaut's hand. But we had the fortunate luck to go. And again an accident. The instrument was designed to look at the minerals which is on the surface of the moon. But the manufacturer who made the sensor, it is slightly wider range. And it could look at lower atomic number elements like water and carbon. That was not intended for that. But when it went there, that became handy. That is a sensor which picked up the presence of water on the moon. So sometimes accidents like in space happen. Now the human space flight we have now to a big way. And there are two opinions. There are some people say, why do you want to waste so much of money for such an expensive program? And the risk involved is very high, etc. What do you want to do? Would you like to come first?
Yeah. Well, yes. Whenever I've addressed audiences, whether mostly actually from the media, these questions always come up as to whether a poor country like ours can afford to spend so many crores of rupees for an activity which essentially is only to raise the prestige of the nation. But I think they are not looking at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture really is idea is, the question is not to ask whether this money is well spent, whether these investments are justified. I think what we need to see really is what is the return on that investment. As Dr. Madhavan Nair has just mentioned, that there is hardly any facet of an Indian citizen's life that has not been touched by ISRO's technology, whether it is tele-education, whether it's telemedicine, whether it is remote sensing, which gives us all the data required for national development. So we really need to look at that, at what are we getting out of this particular expenditure, the return on investment. And I think up till now, ISRO, unlike the other countries, we have never ever gone ahead for the sake of just national prestige. We've always, at the end of it, had an aim where the benefits of that technology filter down to the common man. And well, I think that this is a path which ISRO will continue to follow, even when it comes to deep space exploration. And what we really now need to think about is that the assets which we are going to get from this kind of exploration, whether from the moon or from Mars, what is going to be the end use? How are we going to utilize those assets? Are we going to go the same way like we have done in Antarctica? Are we going to draw lines that this piece of land belongs to my country and whatever I get from here, it will go only to my country? I think here is a window of opportunity which we must grasp, grab, and see how we can change the way we live. That activity in future should be really for the greater good of humanity rather than one or the other country. Otherwise, what we are going to do is draw the same boundaries on the moon and Mars, and what we will succeed in achieving is to export conflict into outer space. Star Wars will then truly become a reality. And it is a reality which we really should not hope to see in anybody's lifetime, not our own and not our children's lifetime.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you must have seen some advertisements in some websites, etc., offering land on the moon. But I must tell you, none of us can own a piece of land on the moon or Mars or anywhere. There is an international treaty which binds the nations and their responsibilities. And there is a specific statement: the outer space, including the outer planets, to be used only for peaceful purposes. So that will continue, I hope so. And except there are some violations that will happen. And people will try to see the military angle and military protection and so on. Other day, one child was asking me in a school, can we shoot a bomb from space? Well, imagination is good. Theoretically, it's possible. But we will never do it. That's not necessary. So we are bound by the peaceful application out of space, and we will do it. Now, one thing, the space we have, India especially, was concentrating mostly on planet Earth. And of course, little bit on the moon and Mars. The moon, the second mission is going to take off maybe within a few months. That will have a unique feature of having a lander, robotic lander will be there, and a platform will move around and pick up samples, analyze and send back data. This is to confirm whatever remote sensing data we had, and that's going to be the logical step. Now Mars, yes, we have sent a probe and taken very accurate pictures, and some scientific also start. Why are we looking for all this? Because we have the unanswered question. The whole universe, where it began, where it is, and where it is going. It is unanswered. I think 99% of the questions associated with that are not, there is no answers. Now, observing from the ground, there are a lot of different. There are cloud covers, dust cover, and so on. So it distorts the signals which are coming from outer space. and we may not be able to have those. So these platforms which are around the Earth can have such images in the visible band or in the microwave or in the X-ray, gamma ray and so on. So that is going to provide very valuable information about the galaxy, stellar constellation, black hole, so on. So this is searching for the fundamental truth, how all originate. So this is something, the exploration which is in front of. For that, the satellites moving around the Earth is one. Then going to, suppose if we can establish a permanent platform on Moon, that can provide such an opportunity on a continuous basis. Then, of course, my guru, Dr. Kalam, he used to quote among the pessimists. They are asking the question, suppose something happens to planet Earth, where the humans would go? It's a very difficult question to answer. And, earlier, the adventurous journey of Columbus, all those things, on new grounds and so on. Now, going outward, the nearest is Moon, and the next is Mars. Of course, Venus is there, but that's different and so on. So, can we colonize this area? What do you think about it?
I think we must colonize. And why I say that, just to take up from Dr. Kalam's point, that what is going to happen, well, let's say tomorrow, there are asteroids which are roaming around. Tomorrow, if there is an asteroid hit, and the human genome, we have no backup. We are taking more care to back up our data on our computers, but the human genome has no backup. So we need to have another habitation so that if there is something cataclysmic which befalls our planet, then it should not write off the species. We must have an outpost. So that is one reason. But whether each country must rediscover the wheel, must gain its own expertise to be able to go and construct a habitation, I don't think that is how it should be done, because the effort is humongous. It, I think, is beyond the capability of any one nation. So we all need to collaborate with our individual strengths and then go out there, because it doesn't make sense, tomorrow you're going to go to Mars and you're going so far away, and once you land on Mars, you turn around and say that, I'm an Indian or I'm an American. It loses its meaning. We are going to be people from planet Earth. We're going to go as Earthlings, and naturally, whatever we get out there should be for the greater good of humankind back on Earth. I think that's the vision we must work towards.
That's really great. Actually, I